All right, let's go over this hand. We are playing at David's Poker Room in University City. Look down at a beautiful king, queen of diamonds. I'm in the small blind, and it folds around to me. So I will make it $15, sorry, $16 in the small blind. And then the guy right there, you can see him throwing the chips, $16, so we're just heads up. And the flop comes 8 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, 6 of clubs. Okay, so let's go over exactly what I'm thinking in this moment. So when you're playing against somebody, you want to narrow down their amount of hands, right? So we can automatically discount any hand, like anything 3-bettable, anything 9s or better. So he might even 3-bet like ace jack suited, right? So we can discount him from having this thing. So this board is really good for him, right? It's got low connected cards, suited cards, a lot of flush draws out there, a lot of defense calls that are just not 3-bet, just calls. They're usually something small and suited, or maybe something like king queen offsuit, queen jack offsuit. But, you know, people can get crazy, but this guy isn't super loose. He's pretty tight. He's probably playing something suited of the low variety that looks really pretty and he wants to see a flop with. So this is a really good flop for him. However, I do have the diamonds, so I'm still going to lead out on this board. Usually I would just check this board unless I had an overpair, but I am going to lead out on this board and see what he does. So I lead out for $15 and he calls. I also want to think about, like, what would he be raising with if he does, and what my plan is if he does raise. I think a small 3-bet is not a terrible idea, but in this situation he just calls, so I put in the $15 and he makes a call. The turn is the 5 of diamonds. Beautiful, we get there. Now, we got to think about a few things here. So obviously, this card is extremely good for our hand, but this card for our range, ace, king, ace, queen, aces, kings, queens, jacks, our range as pre-flop raiser, it's not very good because it completes so many straights and so many flushes possibilities. And I know for a fact if this guy has a straight, he's going to be betting it on the turn. That I mean, most likely he won't check back with something like that. So I am going to make a sneaky check here. And sadly, we do get the snap check back. So that's not great. You know, I'm thinking downgrading his hands to maybe middle pair, bottom pair, hopefully something that's just willing to get showdown and maybe willing to call something that looks like a bluff. So I decide on a sizing of around $60. I think that in this situation, a larger sizing is best because it looks more like a bluff, and we need it to look like a bluff because we are obviously going for value with the second nut flush. And he does look pretty agonized when I throw this bet out here, and that is because he actually has a straight, which is insane. I mean, any competent player is going to be betting in the turn, so I bet off 60 right there. Any competent player is going to be betting the turn with a straight. And now he's in the tank on the river, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? What a fucking nit, am I right? I mean, I would have lost another $100 here. I'm just saying, like, the chance that I have a flush is so low that you should never check back. So I guess I did play this wrong, but he does end up making a call for $60, so I do get the value there. However, I think I missed out on about $100 worth of value. So I think my main mistake here is not recognizing what type of player I'm playing against. If I was looking at a different player at the table, say Mantis over there, which is the guy directly to the guy I'm playing left, if I knew what type of player I was playing against, I would probably not have checked the turn, because, I mean, nitty players, people who aren't very good, they usually will just check back when they don't have the nuts, especially in pots that they already feel are large enough for their hand, even though that's terrible for the bankroll. I mean, it's just not the smart play in the long run, because the likelihood I do have a flush is pretty low. It still is something I need to learn. You know, you got to play the player, not just how you think people should play. So despite the fact that I would have played that completely different from him, I still think that that check there was really good. I think that any other competent player, anybody with a straight, is going to be betting out there. You know, you have to defend against larger overpairs, or not just overpairs, overcards with diamonds, because they're obviously continuing there. And that is right where my hand, like, is most likely to be. You know, ace queen, ace jack, even king queen with a single diamond is just like something you can always get so much value with a straight. I'm always going to continue with the draw to the nuts or the second nuts, and I just think that despite the fact that it worked out for him here, I think that in the future it's really not profitable to play like that. But yeah, as I said, I'm not analyzing his hand and how he played the hand. I'm just saying that I think that I should have thought about the player more before doing what I did. I think if I bet out 50 and then river 100, I would have made an extra $90, $100 of profit. So yeah, definitely a misplay here, but in most situations it's going to work out well. So yeah.